The music, you know, apart. I mean, for instance, you were telling me earlier that you all write the music together.
Yes.
How does that affect what you're trying to do for the future?
Well, the main thing about this band is that it's a very, very democratic unit, you know, and everybody in the band, you know, puts their ideas into the band. A lot of people think it's just Boy George. So obviously this is an important thing. I think the next album, which is called Colour by Numbers, which is out in September in your shops, and this will make us more of a band, I think, and I think this is very important, you know, that people stop looking at Boy George and realise that there is John Moss, Roy Hay and Mikey Craig also in Culture Club, who are very, very important members of this band.
Now, image, just visuals are quite important to you. I mean, not necessarily the way you look, but even the videos you make. Can you see that going further, sort of trying to make something more of that part of it?
Well, I think that it's important that you have a sense of humour, and I think when we do videos, we try to be very affectionate. I like to make videos that people laugh at, you know, the sort of thing that, you know, you and your mother could watch and giggle at. I don't like arty things. I don't like to make videos that are kind of fooling the fans into thinking that we're like very rich, suave pop stars. I think that I like to be very real, you know, it's important.
Okay, thanks a lot for talking. Just sorry for keeping you waiting so long. Well, you've still got time you've still got time, looking at the right camera now, to phone in for the competition. You know the competition about the harmonica and so on, but the lines do close at 10:30, so make sure you do. But now we have the results of your video phone-ins. Now this is Police. Now this isn't their new single, this is actually a track off the album. You chose it, here it is.
Now the guy... Hey. George, what do you think of Steve as a producer then?
Steve is almost like the fifth member of Culture Club in a lot of ways. We have a very kind of personal relationship with Steve, so, you know, we like his production.
With all that gadgetry in the studio, which we've just seen, is that the kind of stuff you like to use on your recordings?
We have a very kind of fine balance, because I hate machines. I'm a total acoustic type of person. I like kind of real soul, very kind of rough, you know. And Roy, who's their keyboard player, and Mikey, they like the machines, they like the fairlights and the computers. And myself and John are more acoustic, so, you know, it kind of works very well.
You've just finished the second album here, haven't you?
We just finished doing the vocals, and now they're mixing, yeah.
And do you get involved in the mixing?
Well, what originally happened was that we all came down and we all poked their fingers and tried to touch the digits and everything, you know. And now what we do is John comes as our ear with Steve, because, you know, we have a very, as I said before, we have a very personal relationship with Steve. So, like, the way we do things is not like the way he does it with other people. You know, we do things differently. I think a lot of bands think they're going to get the Culture Club sound when they come to Steve, but we have quite a unique situation with Steve, I think.
When you're in a recording studio, I imagine there's a lot of pressure. How do you actually go about developing the songs?
Well, basically, there isn't much pressure in the studio, you know, because I think we're very adult in our approach to the studio. But in rehearsals, we fight a lot. There's a lot of coffee thrown over each other and guitars being thrown down. I come along with a melody line, lyrics. I mean, I never sing anyone else's lyrics. So all the songs are from a very personal basis. And we work it out together, you know, the chord structures Roy works out and John puts the beat. You know, there's nobody in this band that kind of isn't important. I mean, they're all as important as each other. It's just that you always see me, you know. But I think that the next album will prove that we're very musical, you know.
So who is the master in the studio? Is it the band Culture Club or is it the producer, Steve?
Well, as I said earlier, you know, it's a very personal relationship, so we work together. It's not kind of, we're not those kind of bands, you know. We all want the same thing, you know. You get a lot of bands who kind of don't know what they want, so the producer has to take over. But with us, you know, we all kind of want the same thing. We want a good, well-structured pop song at the end of the day. It's not really, that doesn't ever come into it, you know. There are a lot of arguments, but not as many arguments as there are in a rehearsal room, you know. In the studio, you know that, you know, it's going to sound good if you work hard on it, so you don't really argue about it.
The album's nearly finished. What's it going to be called?
The album's called Colour by Numbers.
Right.
And it's very different to Kiss Me Be Clever. It's a lot more mature, a lot more sophisticated.
And presumably you'll be wanting to promote it around Britain, I think, so some gigs in the future.
Well, we'll be touring in the end of September. No London dates, but we'll be touring all outside London, and then we're going to play London at Christmas.
I look forward to that.
Okay.
And you're going to do it by bike? So I know you came into the studios today on a bike.
Yeah, I go everywhere on the bike. It's much easier. People just go, there he goes. They can't stop you and ask for autographs.
Thanks for taking time out to talk to us.
Thank you.
Thanks, George.
Get out of the way, Steve.